Okay. All right, I think I'm all set up. Hi, I'm Mike Staum, and I'm just getting all this ready. Thank you for viewing my Genius Hour project. A little bit about myself. I am the technology teacher and coordinator at Cedar Park in Apple Valley Elementary. It's a STEM school. I'm on the STEM team with an engineering teacher and a science teacher as well. And we have very unique, I'm very lucky to have a unique job like this. So I create my own schedule, and so do our other STEM teachers. And we do a lot of project-based learning. And the teachers actually join us during the lessons, and we plan them all out monthly, K through 5th with the STEM team. So I can have opportunities where I do a lesson that's 60 minutes or 80 minutes, especially if I'm preparing a bunch of things, whether it's robots or in this case, prepping the computer lab for Alice for 5th grade and Python learning with 2nd grade. All right, so the tools I've used in the past, you can see are listed here. I'm very into computer science. I don't have a degree in it. I'm just very interested. And that's why I chose this for my Genius Hour project. These are the platforms and some apps. You might have heard of some of them. Even BrainPop is getting on board with the coding thing. They have some little activities that go along with their coding videos as well, in case you're wondering. And these are all the things I've done in the past, whether it's kindergarten through 5th grade. I do a Scratch project with all K through 5th grades, whether it's the standalone Scratch on a laptop or an iMac, or the iPad app Scratch Junior I do with the K1-2 kids. They connect to units of study. So I want to connect most of the stuff to the units of study for our district, which is our kindergarten through 5th grade, basically kind of like objectives, learning objectives for all these different topics and subjects at our schools. So yeah, I want to find the next coding tool that my K through 5th grade students, in this case, I'm trying 2nd grade and with 5th grade, 2 new tools that they can create with and demonstrate their learning and really explore to take off with. And I teach coding because it's very problem solve based with computational thinking. I can share this out later if you're interested in these links, or just email me and let me know. Well, everybody uses technology in their whole life to run their life, whether they like it or not. And only a few people, if you think about it, in the public or around the world, actually know how to code, but we all use it. So therefore, our code was invented like 10 years ago, the nonprofit with all these tech moguls who are wanting to change what I just said. More people need to learn how to code. STEM jobs are still heavily dominated by white and Asian males, mostly white males of, what do I want to say here? Of more of an upper level, say, class of people, socioeconomic. So we want to change that. So CS for All is a great equalizer that coding can bring to the table, where all learners today, of all different types, all different backgrounds, all different genders, should be able to have the opportunity to learn how to code and pursue STEM jobs in the future. So that's my little rant on that. It's a good rant for everyone. Okay. Sorry, it's a weekend, my humor is a little off. So my essential question for my Genius Hour is, what is the best next innovative coding tool or tools for me to use as an elementary technology teacher to have my students explore computer science or coding at Cedar Park? And I chose, after much research, I chose Python. I do Python coding with my 4th and 5th graders. And I thought, hey, I think 2nd grade could handle this. We have a very STEMmy group, a pretty motivated 2nd graders. My daughter happens to be in 2nd grade too, which is fun. And they kind of eat up everything we teach them in our STEM classes. So they were my guinea pigs for 2nd grade. And in 5th grade, Mr. Harlstad's class, very similar. Like I just said, they're always up for new challenges for the most part. And we did Alice with his 5th grade class. Okay, So I found these two resources for coding. Python is web-based, so we just go to a website. It gives them a nice experience, students, of what it actually is like, the successes and the challenges of authentic character-based coding. They're typing characters in, and when you hit run, it may or may not work. And you have to go back and figure out why it didn't work and fix the problem and run it again. Okay, iteration, keep doing it over and over again to make sure it works. Okay, so I did a 60-minute lesson with Mrs. Lotto's second grade class in Python. Okay, and that was earlier in the week. And for Alice, version 2.5, that app, it's a standalone app. It's very large, FYI, if you're interested in this stuff. So it took me a while to get it installed into the iMacs of our computer lab. It does tend to suck up a lot of RAM. You can hear the fans of my computer running right now because in the background, I have my Alice project, as you can see right here. So more on that later. Okay, it's a lot of fun, Alice. If you're familiar with Scratch, you can create your own characters and just have them do what you want. You can make apps, you can make games, interactive. I do interactive projects with our K through 5th grades in Scratch, like 3rd grade does a Zooms project about an animal. This year was a wolf. So they coded a wolf walking around its environment, interacting with things that would display facts about wolves and their habitat. Just an example there. So Alice is similar, but the advantage of Alice is it actually looks more like a Pixar movie that the kids are creating and controlling. And that's quite authentic to what people actually do at Pixar or these other movie studios, special effects studios like Lucas Films, if you're a Star Wars nerd like me, or like the Weta Workshop, which did the Lord of the Rings and a bunch of other stuff. So kids do like that fun connection as well. This one I knew was going to be a while, or we needed some time to explore and to and to fail, to be honest, and to talk about our failures as a class to figure out how Alice works best for each student and as a class. And for me, I'm learning it too. Okay, so what didn't work? We're starting with 2nd grade Python. All right, so I might as well show you what we did. I'm going to move this a little bit. So I shared this link. It's from the website called Trinket, which I like a lot. It's free. And you can see this is Python, Learn Python Part 1 numbers. So they're kind of working on operators, okay? And these topics right here in math. So right here, you can see they listed examples, all right? And we were trying different things out. They're supposed to, hey, what if we use a plus sign? What if we use a minus sign down here? What if I put a space between the numbers and the operator? What if I do an equals? What would happen? Well, that's what happened. So the kids were getting syntax errors when we were exploring. I told them, here's what you're going to do. Try this, try that. Now, what do you want to try? And then the kids all rose their hands, excited. I want to try this. I want to try that. I want to try a number in the billions. Okay. So you can see right here, one of the things we found out, is if I write 1,000 and 2,000 and put the commas in there, Python's syntax or the rules of the language does not like that. Okay, it's a character that should not be used, or it's not used correctly in this context. So that's what that means. We talked about what the error means, a bad input on line 1. Okay, sometimes it's not the most accurate of where the mistake is, but usually it shows up underneath your mistake. Okay, all right. So the way this works is you can see 4 minus 4 is 0. So the answer, so to speak, are down here. And we talked about a negative minus a negative. What do you go, positive and things of that nature. It was really fun. And I did not have them in partners. I had them in coding neighbors. So if I needed help and I'm one of my students, I could ask my neighbor and vice versa. That worked for the most part. I'll get to more on that soon. But you can just see right here, and kids got to experience some characters for math that they maybe not have used before, like a forward slash for division. And they really like doing the star for multiplication, which is kind of fun. And they got to use the shift keys, which is kind of rare in 2nd grade, to do the characters like shift 8 is the star, and so on. So that was fun. they really got into that. And then the next step was we did this. We did some print. So we were telling it to print the answer. And we found out if you just type in normal in between your open and closed brackets here, or parentheses, so 2 plus 2, that worked. It said 4. Okay, but in quotations, it prints them separately together as a number. Okay, and I think we even explored if you put like spaces between, and it still worked, as you can see. So that was fun. They actually get to type in actual, this comes up blank. I just left the example up that we did, and they have to start typing the characters in. So they found out if they misspelled print, or if they put a space after that there, then they're going to get errors over here. So, and that's pretty authentic. When you're coding, one little thing, one little character's off, then a lot of your algorithm over the whole thing will not work. And you have to go back and problem solve. A lot of sequential thinking, computational thinking, thinking like a computer. It's only going to do it exactly what you're telling it to do. All right, back to my presentation. Try to make this kind of quick. I have a tendency to really get excited about something and talk a lot about it. All right, so the good fit neighbor did work, but it wasn't as effective as I hope. Unfortunately, both the classes I had, the 2nd grade coding class and the 5th grade, they had subs that day, and they were, usually it's not a big deal. I can deal with it, being a teacher of 18 years. But they were very off. It was Wednesday, it was right before break. They were very hyped up too. The weather was changing. It was a little more challenging than I thought. So next time I'm going to actually work with the teachers. I did ask them to pair them up ahead of time, but I know it's NCAs and it's the end of the school year and they're stressed. So I made notes for next time I teach this. I'm going to ask them to pair them up in learning pairs. Some of our teachers do like peanut butter jelly, kids who can support each other, that work well with each other, that they do in class, in the classroom. So yeah, it went well with Python, and we had some extra time with 2nd grade. So then they got to do Python right here. This is called Code Combat. I tell them it's called Coding Fantasy. There's not much combat. It's not violent. It's actually off the Our Code website. I know some of our middle schoolers use it, but it's really easy. You just choose a fantasy character. You go and collect things, and you start in a dungeon, and you go to a castle, this and that. So, and you have your methods here, and just like real coding, if I want him to go down, I need to hit D, and that brings up down. Okay, or if I type in H, all algorithms, okay, or commands that start with H show up. But I told the kids, you look at the unique ones, okay, the U for up, D for down, L for left, and so on. Okay, so then I'm going to run it. So he's going right. All right. So you can see I have a little error. Avoid the spikes. Oh, I didn't avoid them. Oops. Okay. Oh, and you can see what they were talking about. I did not finish my command. It's just a H sitting there. So I want him to go right again. All right. Yay. I got it done. There we go. Okay. So pretty easy. Okay. Sorry. So that's Code Combat. It gets a lot more sophisticated, and that would be really fun to have learning buddies working together with each other, getting that done. The kids really got into that. They had success with that. Some tears were shed because they didn't understand it as well, because it is a challenge. So we talked about that, and we talked about, I would try to stop every 5 or 6 minutes to talk about, hey, what are we experiencing that helped? What are your frustrations? What are your successes? So that helped the kids. That was fun as well, and it helped me to plan for next time. So for the 5th graders, they started with a tutorial. I'm going to hide this in Alice. Alice is a little dated looking. This version 2.5 is from like 2010, I think. So I'm going to try to do this fast. And so here's the viewing screen. Okay. This is part of the tutorial the 5th graders did with me. So if I click help, I can just show you this, take a few seconds. And we clicked on this one. So it shows you step by step what to do just to get her to skate a little bit and spin, and then you take it from there. So then the kids and I added a thought bubble, and you can see the algorithm runs from top. She prepares to skate, and it goes down here. We kind of did, you can group your commands together. So at the same time, she's going to jump, and then it's going to play a sound called whoosh. And then I did a thought bubble, or a speaking bubble, excuse me. And she said, yes, I did it. And you can see so on and so on here. Okay. And then she kind of almost fell, and then she moves quick to the right, kind of like a speed skater. We found out we could do that. How many steps? 2. So there's some inputs. You know, it's pretty fun. And at the very end, we printed the end. So here's what it looked like. This took us about 40 minutes to make as a class. So you can see it's more 3-dimensional than Scratch, if you're familiar with that. So it's kind of fun. It's like you're an animator for a movie studio. Now she's getting ready to jump. Oh, the sound was off a little bit. Oh, well. Nope, and then she almost fell. And the end, there's her performance. So after that, I let the kids explore, and that's where some kids, they were kind of off to behavior problems kind of came up, because it is hard. So, and this is just our experimental day, and it's late April, so some 5th grade itis was happening, but it was good to show me. And I told them they all save their files. They can work on this later, because we have some other tech projects we need to end the school year, and this is something we can go back to, and I'll let them work on if they finish other things. But this is more so for me to prep for next year for 5th grade, and for the 2nd graders for Python as well. I think it'd be fun if I didn't found a 3rd grade Python. I could do more numbers and take it to the next level. Since I do Python with 4th and 5th grade, it'd be fun to make a 2nd through 5th grade Python unit, I think, as well. All right, so I'm actually gonna go back. All right, I kind of talked about what worked well. I also had for 5th grade on my technology website, our kids, our K through 5 are used to seeing this, especially 1st through 5th. And down here, I have some Alice links to some how-to videos. You can see I have some Python stuff I do with the 4th and 5th graders, and the basic math one for 2nd graders right there. That's how they access that, and some other coding things. Okay, sorry, my children are upstairs being loud. So anyways, I just wanted to show you this quick. So I had them try Garfield, where he simply pushes Odie into the ice, not very nice, and then he says something. So this is the how-to video. And it said bath time. So we came up with what could happen before that. We're going to talk about how next time we would tell Odie would have another speaking bubble, or not Odie, Garfield would say, hey, you smell like fish. What have you been rolling in? And then he pushes him into the into the pond. Hopefully he survived. And he says bath time in typical sarcastic Garfield humor. So they got excited for that, and they had some success with that, and they saved their file. And 5th grade was with me for 50 minutes, or excuse me, 75 minutes. It was when I let them do their exploring time. About 5 or 6 boys, naturally, were off task consistently, and it kind of distracted others. So we worked through that. And the nice thing is the 5th graders and 2nd graders, but everybody had success. Everybody created something, and we talked about what that felt like and what the challenges were and what their successes were, what they would do next time, what I could do to help them. And they thought if we started with the Garfield lesson first, that would be a lot more fun, and then start the ice skater one as a class, and I let them go and do it on their own. So I thought I made a note of that for next time. And some of these other things I've talked about too. Oh, and then we ended the 5th grade session doing more coding a story. And this was great timing because the movie Bad Guys came out. It's a graphic novel series for kids. I actually really like it myself. It's quite fun. But they actually code an animation story about the bad guys. And it's through code.org or Our Code. So it's free. And the 5th graders, we all kind of ended on a high note doing this together. It was quite fun. And I did let the kids who are still really into trying their keep working on their Alice. They kept working on their Alice too, but a lot of kids, especially the ones who are kind of off task and struggling with Alice, appreciate doing this. This is taking forever to load. I apologize, but I think you saw enough. All right. So again, what I kind of learned, I've always tried to do a reflection at the end of my projects for sure, if not every lesson, but this really helped with something new and challenging, and it's above both their grade levels. Python should be, as I found out, second graders can do it, but it's usually meant for the older kids to wrap around what they're actually doing. And Alice is meant for middle school and above, and you can tell. So the kids took on a hard challenge, and overall they did a good job. I talked about how I'd like them all in more effective learning pairs ahead of time, whether I make those pairs or I work with the classroom teachers on that. I want to do a 3-staggered unit of Python with the second graders and the 5th graders for their Alice, kind of make a whole 3 to 4 lesson or work day unit on this. Okay. Oh, I also had a fun idea that every one of our classes have a buddy class. The younger primary grades have a intermediate 4th or 5th grade buddy. That would be something really fun because the 4th, 5th graders have already done Python, and then they can help the second graders do it too. And vice versa with Alice. Once the 5th graders kind of get a hang of Alice, say next year, they could work and maybe even teach it to the second graders together. That would be fun in the computer lab. Some other redesign notes I have here. I could talk about how they really took on to the Garfield tutorial. Every class and every group of 5th graders or any students are different. So I might actually lead in with that. And then we go into the ice skater and I start them off with the ice skater and they just keep working themselves. For a lot of our Scratch projects, I make a template and I send it out, a starting template, and I send it out to all the iMacs or the laptops, and the kids start there. It's kind of pre-made to get them started. I think I might do that with Alice. That has helped in the past. Alice was hard. Computers were freezing. Kids were misbehaving. It's a challenge. It's above grade level. That's why I wrote right here, I think an after school class. I used to do coding after school classes before the pandemic. And I think Alice would be perfect for that. And that's kind of one of my aha moments there. And I think Python too. So I don't know, I really enjoyed it. It was a fun challenge for me to figure out how I'm going to teach these things and how to motivate them. I had some fun intro videos from Pixar with Python, or excuse me, with Alice, and with Python. I had a couple fun videos of kids talking about how they used Python in the past I found online. And that helped set the tone for the fun challenge with my students. So I hope you enjoyed it. And if you want a copy or want the link to my presentation, if you're interested in coding or know if somebody who does coding in your school and would like more resources, let me know. I can share this presentation with you. All right. Thank you. See you later.